Hey everyone, and welcome to another light novel review. As always, I'll be evaluating the book based on its plot, writing style, and illustrations. I don't give out scores, but I do give recommendations, as I find the content of a review is more important than a numbered score at the end. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Written by Hajime Kamoshida, and illustrated by Keiji Mizoguchi, Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai is not only a mouthful, but it's also a book and series that subverts expectations by choosing a name that is loaded with certain connotations. As a small disclaimer, I watched the anime twice before reading the first novel, as it's one of my favourite series. So I knew what to expect, but it's still nice to see everything fleshed out a little bit more, and also to see how faithful of an adaptation the anime was. So basically, Rascal is about Sakata Asuzagawa, a listless second-year high school student who thrives on simplicity and normalcy. He's an outcast at school, but has two friends, which is more than enough for him, and a loving sister who he lives with away from his parents. While roaming about a library one day, Sakata notices an irregularity in his otherwise normal day. A wild bunny girl is running around the library, making herself known in any way she can, but oddly enough she is met without any reaction from the patrons except for Sakata. This bunny girl is Mai Sakurajima, a third year at Sakata's high school and former child star. Sakata approaches her and thus begins the strange and very entertaining tale of a girl who is seemingly invisible to all but Sakata and the other peculiarities of adolescent syndrome, a unique condition constantly plaguing Sakata's life. Rascal is just such a refreshing change of pace both as a novel and anime that I just fell in love with the series from the very first moment. It's unique, strange, and weirdly down-to-earth for a series constantly bringing up supernatural occurrences. It presents itself so proudly and earnestly that it's hard not to get caught up in the moment and lose track of time. Sakata's back and forth with Mai is great as they act like a couple of awkward teenagers trying to figure the other out. The confidence he shows when talking to his two friends contrasts even better as you get a sense that he has a history with these people. In particular, his relationship with Ryo Futaba, the equally lonesome science club student, is a great way to ground the series and deliver exposition. Ryo tries to explain everything with science, so whenever adolescent syndrome turns its ugly head, Ryo is there to explain things in a logical but also outlandish way, as this is still fiction and a light novel at the end of the day. It's also hard to have a scientific explanation for a girl who is invisible to all but one person, but Schrödinger's cat works well enough for a work of fiction. Written from a third-person perspective, Rascal truly feels like you're watching everything play out from the outside. Even more important is the fact that the narrative doesn't just drop exposition out of nowhere, it flows into it. So in the first novel, there's quite a lot we as a reader don't really know, as the story only just started from this one particular point in time. Sakata knows who he is, Mai knows who she is, and it's up to the reader to piece these characters together as the narrative progresses. We're just along for the ride. For what is effectively a slice-of-life series that moves at a relatively relaxed pace, nothing ever really felt drawn out or slow. In fact, I felt I was engaged the whole time even though I've been through similar content before with the anime. It's just a joy to read, and the translators did an incredible job. The illustrations are nice and punctuate practically every major story beat. They aren't used much for introduction, as that's sorted out in the colour illustrations at the start. However, those same colour illustrations do have a bit of a problem, with many characters showing similar hair colours and facial structures. But it is what it is, so I don't mind. In fact, the standard hair colours help sell the world as a more grounded and real series that has these strange supernatural events taking place. It's just easier saying it's realistic having a school with dark-haired Japanese students than all the colour gradients of a rainbow spilt out on an assembly. Overall, Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai makes a strong first impression, and it's just a solid story from beginning to end. It leaves you satisfied enough that the end cliffhanger doesn't have you panicking for the next volume. It was a good read and more than enough to sell me on the rest of the franchise. So if anything I just said interested you, then I recommend Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any suggestions for future reviews or novels in general, please let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, bye!